Hi, it's Sarah from Pottery again, and I'm here today to show you how to do the string effect. And this is something that's been on my Instagram, so you might have seen it, and it's just basically where we use two different colours to try and get a nice little effect. As the name suggests, I'm going to be using some string, but first of all, I'll just show you I'm using a plain pottery tile. You can do it on any shape. Actually, it's probably better that you use it on something that's round, like a mug or a vase or a jug. But I'm just using a tile just for example today. I'm also going to be using two types of string. So we've got this little quite thin string, and then something that's a little bit thicker here that's got lots of nice little strands on it. You can see. I'm going to be using two different paints. I'll be using a yellow on the underside and an orange on the overside. You can use whatever colours you like. I'll be using a couple of sponges with a bowl and some clean water, and obviously a mixing palette. So if you want to follow along, just continue watching. Thanks, bye. Hi, so as you can see here, we've got the bits of string here. I just cut them into some quite long lengths to start doing this project. So I'm just going to take one of the sponges and use some water to clean off this tile, and I do that just so that any rogue bits of dust don't end up being glazed and fired onto the pot. You can see here on this tile that it's got some slight marks on it. That's fine, those will actually come off in the firing because the temperature will just burn them straight off, so I'm not worried about that. I'm just going to use my yellow paint first. Just going to use the same sponge with the yellow paint and just dab it all over my pot. So that first layer is now dry, and I'm just going to go in for a second layer to give it a really bold background. And so this is dried off now, so what I'm going to do is take my string. I've got a really thick kind of fibrous one that I'm going to use first. And I'm just going to pick up my tile and just wrap my string in whatever design I want. You have to wrap it quite tight, and obviously choose what you want to do with it, and then I'm just going to tie it at the back. Okay, now that first one is done, I'm going to use my thinner string, which has still got a bit of fibre on it, but not as much as the first one. I think I'm going to go in the same direction, but just do some tight wraps on this side. Okay, so we've got the tiles looking all wrapped up with the paint. It's got its first couple of layers of yellow on it. Now I'm going to go in with another layer of the yellow. Hopefully you can see what I'm going to do next, but at the moment you'll see that the first layer of paint over the string has essentially stuck all these little nice fibres into the yellow, and stuck the bigger chunks also at the back, so it's not got many gaps between the pot and the string now. So I'm just going to leave that to dry off for a sec. Right, this layer is more or less dried off now. The more paint you layer onto any piece of pottery, the longer it's going to take between layers to dry, because it's not got as much room to dry and kind of sink into the pottery anymore. So now I'm going to start adding layers of the orange paint. Now this layer is dry, I'm just going to go in with a second layer of the orange. Okay, this one's pretty much dry, So now I'm going to start taking the string off of the back, undoing the string. Just managed to take a little bit of that paint off, so I'm just going to touch it up a little bit. You have to be so careful once you've painted the pottery before it's fired, because when it's dry it can knock off occasionally, so just be careful once you've painted your pots to wrap them up before they come back for firing. And I'm going to just start unwrapping all this string. And that's the final product. As you can see, what it's done is it's where we use the third layer of yellow to cover that string back up, it's actually really nicely kind of painted the fibres into there, and it's got a lot of detail, so that's quite cool. I'm very happy with that, and this will be going in for firing, and I'll follow up with what it looks like after it's been through the kiln.